For this next flash animation, instead of drawing your own symbols, you're going to open up a file that's been sent to your desktop that already has some symbols drawn. It's called walker.fla, okay, and you'll see that in the library already 5 different symbols. There's the arm, the body, the head, lower leg, and section. And this one is used 4 times, the arm is used twice, the lower leg is used twice as well. There are also already 10 layers created. Now if you cannot see all the layers, what you want to do is grab this thin line right here, and you can drag up and down on your timeline to make sure you can see all the layers. Okay, and so now, following the directions on the timeline, you're going to click the top layer in frame 20 and drag all the way down to the last layer in the list. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be extending all of these layers over to frame 20 and inserting a keyframe. We're going to do that all at once. If I were to click on frame 20 and then drag, okay, that's not going to work. Instead it's going to move this frame. So I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to undo that, and instead in one motion click and drag all together. Then I'm going to insert timeline keyframe, and it will create keyframes for all of those. So right now frame 1, frame 20. The guy hasn't moved yet, but I'm going to make him move now. So once you create those keyframes, all of his parts should be selected. I'm going to drag him forward about an inch as far as he would move in taking one step. Now what you'll notice is each object has a white circle on it. Those are called the axis of rotation. You can think of it as where it connects to another object. These points can be moved while you're in the transform tool. Okay, so the transform tool, that's the third tool down for transforms, the one we used to resize the circle. It's the one we used to rotate the car when it was going up the ramp. So this circle is right in the middle of this body right now. So if I were to rotate the body, it would rotate around that circle. However, for the arm, it will do the same thing if the circle's in the middle, but the circle's not in the middle. It's up in the shoulder. So now when I rotate it, it stays connected to the body that way and acts like the shoulder. For the lower arm, this one acts like an elbow. Here it acts like a hip, and then you have the knee. Okay, so that way you're going to rotate it around this circle instead of rotating around the middle of the object. And that's how we're going to keep them together. Okay, so use the free transform tool to swing the upper arm forward. So you have to do this one section at a time. So I selected his upper arm, and I'm going to drag him forward. I'm going to drag it forward like that. And then I'm going to move the other part of the arm and swing that forward. So his arm took one step, swung forward. This arm going to swing back, and then this one's going to move back. And then I'm going to swing it. You have to be very careful where you're clicking. And sometimes it'll take a couple tries before you click the right piece that you want to move. Okay, then I'm going to do the same things with the legs. This leg goes back. A little off balance right now. This leg goes forward. And he's taking a step. So I go from frame 1 here to frame 20. His arms and legs each swung in the opposite direction, and now if I make those tweens the same way by dragging through all of these layers, insert classic tween, come back to the beginning, and I'm going to play it, and he takes a step. Great. I'm going to do the same thing again for 40. Select all the frames, insert timeline keyframe, move him forward just a little bit, and then I'm going to swing all his limbs. Whoop. I accidentally grabbed the wrong place and I made it wider, so I'm going to undo that. Just want to swing it forward. Now let me show you what you can do if you're having trouble selecting certain parts because they're right on top of each other. Let's say I move this one Okay, and I still have to move the blue leg, but I can't really grab it right now. So what I can do is, down on the timeline, there's this eyeball, and that is just hide or show a layer. So if I want to hide, if I hide the pink layer, which would be the right leg, whoops, right leg, there we go. Now I can hide those temporarily, swing this leg backwards. Okay, then I can show them again. Okay, and then insert my classic tween again. Go back and play it. 1 step, 2 steps. Great. Okay, so we're all the way down here now in the directions. Make him take 2 more steps at frames 60 and 80. Then make him do something else. He can jump, he can sit, he can fall down. Just make sure he all stays together. Don't just break him apart. Don't blow him up. And you may introduce other objects if you want, if you want him to trip over something, but just remember, to introduce a new object, you need to hit new layer and then draw that object, either here, or I can make a keyframe here and draw the object there. You can't draw another object on the same layer that already exists, or else you can't move that layer anymore. And that's it for this part of that assignment.